Class of 2018, it is so wonderful to be here with you today for this milestone. When I graduated from Gann, I had only the vaguest ideas about what I might end up doing after college. And yet, when I reflect on what I do today, it's easy for me to draw a line back to my experience at Gann and who I was as a graduating senior. I work at a nonprofit that prevents homelessness, and I advocate for people who are being evicted from their homes. A few months ago, as I was walking through downtown Boston, I was stopped by a man asking passersby for spare change. I only had a 20, and the man asked if I'd be willing to break it down in order to give him smaller change, and I said, sure. As we walked over to some shops on Washington Street, I asked him about his housing situation, because that's what I do. He told me his name is Robert, and he is currently living on the street. I broke the 20, gave him $5, and we talked about some housing resources. At the end of our conversation, Robert said to me, "You are the only one today who acted like I was a person." Now, around the time that I met Robert, I was also reading a novel by China Miéville called The City and the City. It's about an alternate world in which two cities share physical space, but not social space. One block will have a mix of buildings from both cities, but the people from each city are trained from a young age, only to see the buildings, parks, and people of their own city, and to unsee everything from the other city. When first reading the novel, I thought, cool idea, but couldn't happen in reality. And then I thought about Robert, who spends most of the day going unseen and unacknowledged. Many of us are trained from a young age to unsee homeless people on the street, to unhear their requests for money, to avoid eye contact with them, and turn our faces away if necessary. We share the same space, but we only see or pretend to see our city. And it's not just the homeless population that we unsee. Many of us unsee where our garbage goes once it's collected from the curb and taken away. Those of us who do not have mobility-related disabilities often unsee the ways in which buildings, sidewalks, and train stations are inaccessible and difficult to navigate. We unhear uncomfortable conversations and comments in social settings. One thing Gann taught me when I was a student here was how to stop unseeing. Not only that, but how to have deeper sight than I had before. Gann taught me how to confront the uncomfortable and how to grapple with the nuances of a complex and difficult world. And one thing Rabbi Baker in particular taught me was how to transform this discomfort into empathy and compassion. Gann also teaches how to see things we had never seen before, how to read and interpret an Emily Dickinson poem in a new way, how to see the physical world around us transformed through our understanding of atomic theory, how to radically reimagine our relationship to prayer. In college, on gap years, working and beyond, you will have so many more opportunities to continue the process of seeing the unseen, of discovering ideas, cities, and people new because you have never been exposed to them before, or because you never realized you had been unseeing them your whole life. My advice and blessing to you, Gann Class of 2018, is to put yourself in situations that will allow you to see more. Get to know the area beyond your campus or beyond the neighborhood. Go to a lecture when you think you might disagree with the speaker politically. Discover what you don't yet know about. Seeing yourself and the world in a new way is the first step to making the world a different place. B'hatzlacha.